Here at Fully Booked and Caffeinated, we love coffee, but there are so many options to choose from in the coffee game. So how can you narrow it down? Well, allow us to help. Afuera Coffee is a company that sources their specialty beans from Central and South America, and the environment is quite literally in every bean. The volcanic soil infuses each coffee bean with vibrant and unique flavors. They have a flavor for everyone based on your personal tastes. Bold espresso for me, smooth light roast for Heather. And that's not all. The best part about Afuera Coffee is the ethical sourcing and sustainable farming practices they use to give you the best coffee while still protecting Mother Earth. And there's more. 5% of all sales are donated back to charities that provide conservation efforts to the great outdoors. If you don't believe me, go to their website, afueracoffee.com, and click on the 5% pledge tab. They have some great info on how much their pledge to charity has already impacted the environment. So check out Afuera Coffee if you're looking for great tasting, vibrant coffee, and you can rest assured knowing that you're contributing not only to your own happiness, but to the environment that we so desperately need to protect. This is an exclusive discount for listeners of our show. Use our promo code to get 15% off any product at afueracoffee.com. That's AFUERA coffee.com. Use promo code CAFFPOD, CAFFPOD. Again, that's afueracoffee.com, promo code CAFFPOD for 15% off sustainable and ethically sourced coffee.
Here at Fully Booked and Caffeinated, Kelsey and I love a good strong coffee. But sometimes you just need a coffee to take the edge off and not keep you up all night, or maybe you're cutting back on your caffeine intake without sacrificing the flavor. Well, that's where Savorista Coffee comes in. Savorista Coffee offers premium craft decaf and half-calf blends that are small batch roasted for exceptional taste with ethically sourced beans, natural decaffeination, and bold flavors, such as the Colombian Inspiration Decaf with chocolate, caramel, citrus, and fruit notes, or the Barely Buzzed Half Calf with dark chocolate, toasted marshmallows, and walnuts, which is directly going into my shopping cart. Our listeners can enjoy an exclusive discount of 25% off any product with our promo code CAFFPOD. So head on over to Savorista.com and be sure to put in that promo code during checkout. Again, that's Savorista, SAVORISTA.com, promo code CAFFPOD to try out what customers rave to be the best decaf coffee they've ever tried.
Hello, welcome to your favorite bookish podcast, Fully Booked and Caffeinated. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Heather.
And today we have another book to movie adaptation. We will be discussing and reviewing Girl Interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
As usual, let's talk about our fuel for this discussion. What are you drinking, Heather, / what coffee did you get?
I'm currently just drinking some H2O because I did not drink enough water today whatsoever. So we're trying to replenish on the H2O. But this weekend it was basically just... Oh, wait, you know what? Yesterday when I went to Starbucks and I switched it up for the first time ever. And I got a iced latte with oat milk, brown sugar syrup, and brown sugar cold foam. And it was pretty good.
That's my drink.
It was really tasty. I was pleasantly surprised because I've just been drinking the white chocolate mochas, and I'm I need to switch it up.
That sounds delicious.
So
on Friday, I had to run an errand in the morning. So I'm well, I'm out. I got to try this coffee shop that I've been wanting to try forever. It's in Trenton. It's called Slam and Brew. And it's less than 10 minutes from my house, but they're only open Monday through Friday. Why?
Oh.
I don't know. It's fucking dumb. But anyway, so I'm oh, I'm out. Let me go there. So I drive there and it was very chaotic and busy and there was no parking. So I turned around and went home.
I mean, fair. I probably would have done. You know my parking anxiety.
I know. I know. And I was oh, guess I'll never try this place. So I stopped at Quick Check on the way home and I got a nice coffee. And they had their summer, I think they called it a boardwalk brew. So it had notes of brown sugar and marshmallow.
Oh.
and it was delicious.
That sounds good. And you like a quick check coffee.
I do love a quick check coffee because I can control the amount of coffee that goes in my cup. You know what I
Fair.
mean?
Yeah.
So, it was a longer trip than it should have been to quick check. But we brought it back.
But whatever.
We brought it back.
You still got a coffee, and that is all that matters.
That's the important thing. Got my errand done, got my coffee.
Yeah.
I will never see this place ever again. Anywho, so cheers.
Cheers.
As everyone can tell, I sound like I choked on a lizard, like Ariana Max's lizard outfit. So bear with me if I have any weird puberty crackers.
You already started.
Oh my gosh. Apparently my lack of voice is messing with my ability to pronounce English words. But anyway, we had a very long weekend, okay?
We did.
And I forgot to take my allergy pill, and I was breathing in a lot of germs. So now I have no voice. Anywho. Okay, so Girl Interrupted is based on a nonfiction memoir.
I don't think this? No, I don't think I knew it was a nonfiction memoir.
Me either. So it's by Susanna Kaysen, and it's about her 2-year experience in a psychiatric hospital. So the movie was released in 1999. It has an absolutely all-star cast.
I was like surprised, actually.
It's definitely its biggest strength because I forgot half these people were in here.
Me too.
We've got Winona Ryder, Angelina Jolie. Those are the obvious ones. Oh, and Brittany Murphy. And then Clea Duvall, Elizabeth Moss, Whoopi Goldberg, Jared Leto, and Jeffrey Tambor. Shocked by half of those. Angelina Jolie cleaned up for awards for this movie. She won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Supporting, Golden Globe for Best Supporting, and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she really carried this movie. We'll get into it. It's directed by James Mangold, and one of the producers is Kathy Conrad, who actually was a producer on the first 3 Scream movies.
Oh.
So she was busy in the late 90s.
Yes.
And Susanna Kaysen was named as a co-producer as well. So Winona Ryder actually partnered with another one of the producers, Douglas Wick, and they purchased the film rights. So Winona Ryder half owned the film rights. So she had a very personal connection to the film.
Yeah.
And it actually took them over 5 years to even get it started. They had a million rewrites. They couldn't figure out how to adapt it, all this stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it took them a very long time, but she was very invested in it. So Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 53% from critics and an 84% from viewers. It has an IMDb rating 7.3 out of 10, which is pretty high. So, like I said, Susanna Kaysen was a co-producer, and she was actually not thrilled about the adaptation.
Okay.
She was surprised in the first place that they wanted to turn her memoir into a movie. And once it was done, she thought that it was too neat and structured when the reality of her situation was much different. But she acknowledged that a lot of people liked the movie, and she wasn't embarrassed by her portrayal, which I think is what she was worried about. Plus, she said that she liked the check, which
I mean,
relatable, babe.
Fair.
I do think this is such a tricky situation to take someone's real struggles with something as important and formative as mental illness and turn it into a Hollywood version. So I'm happy that she wasn't fully critical of it, because that would be really hard.
Yes, I agree.
Here's our movie description. Sometimes the only way to stay sane is to go a little crazy. Set in the changing world of the late 1960s, Susanna Kaysen's prescribed short rest from a psychiatrist she had met only once becomes a strange, unknown journey into Alice's Wonderland, where she struggles with the thin line between normal and crazy. Susanna soon realizes how hard it is to get out once she has been committed, and she ultimately has to choose between the world of people who belong inside or the difficult world of reality outside. Okay, before we get into the plot, Let's take a quick ad break. If you're a listener of the pod, you know that Heather and I are booked and busy. We're always looking for ways to make our life easier and to boost our energy and focus, which is why we've got a company for you to check out called Strong Coffee Company. Their instant coffee and latte options not only provide a quick route to your delicious morning coffee, their blends are also infused with 15 grams of grass-fed protein, 5 grams of MCTs, 250 milligrams of adaptogens such as ashwagandha and theanine. If you're like, what the heck does all that mean? It means you'll be getting much better sleep, more mental clarity, and no jitters or crashes. Better sleep means more productivity and more energy to do things you love, like read and listen to this podcast. So if you're committed to being your best, healthiest self without giving up your daily cup of coffee, check out Strong Coffee Company. We've got an exclusive discount for you only for listeners of our show. Head to strongcoffeecompany.com and use promo code CAFPOD to get 20% off any product. This is the highest discount Strong Coffee offers, so make sure to use this code ASAP and let us know what you think. Again, that's strongcoffeecompany.com and use promo code CAFPOD.
If you've been a long-time listener of the pod, you know Kelsey and I are all about pop culture and the entertainment industry. And if you happen to be looking for a one-place stop to shop for officially licensed merchandise, we've got the place for you. Old Glory is the ultimate destination to shop, offering over 300,000 items for music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture fans. This family-owned superstore has provided high-quality clothing and accessories since 1969, featuring the world's most iconic bands, sports teams, fan-favorite apparel, and quirky gifts, which means there's truly something for everyone. With free standard shipping and same-day order processing, Old Glory delivers fast and reliable service with every purchase. So whether you are shopping for yourself or looking for that perfect gift, Old Glory is your one-stop shop for iconic, high-quality merch, and our lucky listeners will receive an exclusive 15% off any product with the promo code CAFPOD. So head on over to oldglory.com to begin shopping their wide range of high-quality merchandise and get that exclusive discount. Again, that's Old Glory, OLDGLORY.com, promo code CAFPOD.
Okay, so just as a blanket statement, obviously this whole movie is about mental illness, but big trigger warning for suicide.
Yes, absolutely.
So we start out in a hospital with Susanna, and we find out that she's being treated for an attempted suicide by overdose. And throughout the rest of the movie, we switch back and forth between the current timeline following Susanna and her memories from before the suicide attempt. So Susanna has just graduated high school, and she wants to be a writer. She has a session with a psychiatrist who has literally never met her before, but he's a friend of her father's and he's aware of her suicide attempt. So he recommends that she go to Claymore for a little rest, just a little place to take a nap. And she has to take a taxi instead of her mother driving there, which is just the first step in this distancing or othering towards Susanna.
Yeah.
During intake, she has to sign herself in, which is just a false idea that she has any control or that this is in any way voluntary. And we find out later that once she signs herself in, she has no control over being able to sign herself out.
Yeah.
Basically, she signs her autonomy over to the hospital so they get to decide when she's ready to leave. And obviously she doesn't realize this when she signs in the first place.
No,
she's just
not.
going there to take a nap.
Yeah, of course.
So Susanna gets a little tour, and we're introduced to some of the other girls in the ward. Her roommate, Georgina, is a pathological liar. Polly, another girl, is covered in burns and obsessed with looking at the instruments. Whoopi Goldberg is the no-nonsense head of the ward. And she's the only one who can really control the women and calm them down. And it seems like the only one that they semi-respect.
Yeah.
Despite them not treating her that well sometimes. And we meet Lisa with her Courtney Cox spiky bangs and her horribly dead bleached out hair, who is brought into the hospital in a hectic way. And we find out that she's been gone for 2 weeks because she ran away. And this happens pretty frequently,
Mm-hmm.
but they always find her and bring her back. But while Lisa was gone this time, her best friend Jamie took her own life. And this leads to an immediate confrontation with Susanna because Susanna is now staying in the room that
Yeah.
Jamie used to stay in.
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa is losing her shit. So they give her a shot to calm her. And her reaction shows that this is her worst fear. And I think that shows us a lot about Lisa's personality. But we'll get back to that later. So we go back to a memory of Susanna hooking up with Jared Leto because, as we've said on this podcast, Jared Leto is everywhere.
He is everywhere.
And once again, I'm shocked every time he pops up, even though I shouldn't be shocked because he always fucking pops up.
I know, but can we talk about the mustache?
We can talk about it.
I was like, oh, that is a choice.
It is a choice. And like, he looked good.
It's like
for
the guy at the bar
60s.
Saturday night with his mustache. He was just like consistently just touching it while he played.
That was a new mustache because he was touching it way too much.
He was feeling it.
He was fondling that mustache.
Yeah, he was.
He must have gotten some like new mustache oil or something.
Probably.
Anyway, the mustaches don't do it for me, so not even on Jared Leto. I don't even think Jared Leto is attractive, but I think he's beautiful. You know what I mean?
He's got like a pretty boy face sometimes.
Yes, like he almost looks like a doll.
Yeah, and like
You know?
apparently he was, oh gosh, I was listening to a movie podcast this morning, and I believe he is in the new movie that just came out. Oh my god, Masters of the Universe.
Okay.
And apparently he has like a really good role in that, but I didn't even know that he was in it. And they had talked about how like his role wasn't really promoted and it probably should have been. I'm pretty sure it's for that movie, but they said that he did really well in that.
I mean, I prefer not knowing what he's going to be in and then he just pops up.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised because the man is always busy. He's always working.
Getting that bag.
When he's not leading a cult, he's working.
Yes.
So, anywho, we see that Susanna loves talking about death.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared Leto is a little freaked out because the concept of death is different for him. So he doesn't like talking about suicide because he knows that he could get drafted at any moment. And everyone knows that a draft pick is a death sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about controlling his death is weird because he knows that he has no control over his death if he does get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he gets drafted. And Susanna is sad, kind of. Like, not really.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of sad in like a distant, like, oh, hey, I know someone who got drafted kind of way.
Yes.
But not specifically about Jared Leto. So we get back to the hospital and we see that Lisa is obviously a celebrity around here. And the other women look up to her, even if they kind of hate her.
Yeah.
And she is diagnosed as a sociopath. And we meet Daisy, aka Brittany Murphy, who is very private. She doesn't usually let anyone into her room.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously comes from money and is spoiled by her dad. She also has an eating disorder where she is addicted to laxatives and only eats rotisserie chickens, which her dad brings her, and she keeps the bones under her bed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I forgot about this part.
Me too.
And thinking about the grease that exists on a rotisserie chicken and the smell of that room.
And also, why are you keeping the bones?
I saw somewhere that she was also diagnosed with OCD. Did that have to do with keeping the bones?
I don't know.
We never find out.
No,
about the bone
I guess
thing.
It was just a fun little hobby for her.
Yes.
A weird one.
Yes, a weird one, but it was a hobby. And that Whoopi Goldberg, God only knows what her name in the movie is, because I will only be calling her Whoopi. She knows about this little quirk
Mm-hmm.
And she makes Daisy throw out the carcasses once she gets up to 5,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is
Mm-hmm.
atrocious. Anyway, so during therapy, Susanna maintains that she didn't try to kill herself by taking an entire bottle of aspirin with a bottle of vodka chaser. But when her psychiatrist refuses to share her diagnosis with her, the women sneak out of their beds in the middle of the night, and after going to an underground bowling alley filled with toilets, there were so many toilets in there. They break into the psychiatrist's office to read their files, and she
Mm-hmm.
sees that her diagnosis is borderline personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing what that is, because the doctor won't even share it with her, she
Yeah.
looks it up in the DSM, and while she does agree with a lot of the aspects, it's such a general definition
Mm-hmm.
of like certain things that could describe anyone, or could describe like not necessarily personality traits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And remember, she doesn't think there's anything wrong with her anyway, so
No.
she's just even more skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
So randomly, Jared Leto shows up again and comes to visit her at the hospital. And after they're trying to quickly bang in her room because Susanna is horny all the time, he tells her that he wants to run away to Canada to escape the draft
Mm-hmm.
and for Susanna to get the fuck out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Which, pause for a second, because he says, my dad gave me $5,000. We could build a cabin in the woods. $5,000 won't even get you over the border right now.
Oh my God.
Anywho, that was upsetting. So, not only does she not actually like this guy,
Mm-hmm.
she starts to realize that she's getting closer with the other women,
Mm-hmm.
especially after their little excursion to the ice cream shop where the other girls had her back and defended her and made her feel validated in an uncomfortable situation.
Yes, I agree.
Because, of course, she was also sleeping with one of her teachers, right? He was a teacher.
He was a
her teacher.
professor.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it was high school. I think he maybe it was like a family friend, and that's
Okay,
how
yes,
she
yes,
got it.
yes.
That's how she met him.
Yeah, because
I don't think it was ever really. Yeah.
His daughter was her age, so his
Mm-hmm.
daughter was her classmate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so truly everyone is in love with Susanna, and she doesn't seem to have any real feelings for any of these men, but she does like to fuck them.
Yeah.
Which is relatable.
Fair.
I get it, Susanna. So after a night where Lisa and Susanna break into the music room so they can play music for Polly, who's having a rough day, because everyone has a rough day around here every once in a while. It seems innocent enough, but they slipped one of the nurses a sleeping pill,
Mm-hmm.
and Susanna is making out with the male orderly. So it's
Yep.
not as innocent as they try to pretend after the fact. So after that, they separate Lisa and Susanna because, like, these bitches are a crazy tag team together, you know?
Yes.
And they do shock therapy on Lisa. So the girls run away together and they go to Daisy's new apartment that she was released to recently, to the apartment that her dad bought for her. And Daisy hates Lisa, but in a way, she wants to show off her apartment and how successful she is,
Mm-hmm.
and how, you know, she was released and now she has like this great apartment and she can survive by herself and all this stuff. But of course, Lisa has to be Lisa.
Yeah.
And when she sees that Daisy is cutting, and obviously not better, she flips out because she's like, you think you're so much better than us for being out, but you're
Mm-hmm.
faking the whole thing.
Yeah.
So Lisa acts like a complete fucking monster and confronts Daisy about her dad sexually assaulting her.
Mm-hmm.
And just says some truly horrific things. And in the morning, they find Daisy dead by suicide, and Lisa gives 0 fucks.
Does not care whatsoever.
Because she's a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa then robs Daisy's dead hanging body and runs off while Susanna waits for the police And then she goes back to the hospital with Daisy's cat.
Mm-hmm.
And she's upset with herself that she didn't stand up to Lisa and stop her when
Mm-hmm.
she was hurting Daisy.
Yeah.
And obviously, yes, that was horrible and fucked up, but everyone is so scared to stand up to Lisa, besides the fact that Lisa wouldn't have stopped anyway, even if she was confronted. And she
Mm-hmm.
probably would have turned on Susanna too and
Mm-hmm.
said horrible things about her.
Agreed.
So, with Lisa gone, Susanna starts writing down her feelings and really embracing therapy and kind of trying to understand her diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And right when they finally capture Lisa and bring her back, Susanna is supposed to be released after over a year at the hospital. But Lisa isn't happy that Susanna's being released. And
Mm-hmm.
so, on her latest tirade of ruining the other women's lives, she steals Susanna's journal and reads it out loud to the other girls. And of course, Susanna's very critical and judgmental of the other women,
Yeah.
which is her right to put whatever the fuck she wants into her journal. But
Uh-huh.
it does add to this attitude that she's so much better than the other women.
Yeah.
And Lisa feels like Susanna is ungrateful for everything that she's done for her and that she wants Lisa to be the villain so that
Mm-hmm.
she can be the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that we see Lisa show some emotion. And they have this kind of showdown, and Susanna finally stands up to her and basically tells Lisa she's already dead and Susanna would rather be out in the world than
Yeah.
here with, it's horrible. And then Lisa is about to kill herself, but decides not to. And on the day of Susanna's release, she goes to say goodbye to Lisa, who is strapped to her bed. Horrific. But they do end on good terms, and they both kind of apologize without saying it.
Yeah.
And they come to a mutual understanding. It very much feels like they're both agreeing that hurt people.
Yes.
And they're both deciding to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And she also apologizes to the other women, leaves her cat for Polly to
Mm-hmm.
snuggle with, and shares a nice hug with Whoopi before heading out in another taxi, this time to go home.
Mm-hmm. With the same taxi driver. I don't know what the relevance of that was.
Literally. He was just like, oh, I remember you. I guess it's a full circle moment.
I guess so.
All right, before we get into our discussion, let's take another ad break.
You know when you have that midday crash and need something quick to perk you up? Well, enter Quantum Squares. Quantum Squares is an energy bar that is redefining the typical energy snacks by offering a scientifically formulated recipe with 100 milligrams of organic caffeine, which is the equivalent to an 8-ounce coffee, for long-lasting, stable energy. These bars deliver balanced nutrition by featuring 10 grams of plant protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates with flavors such as peanut butter, dark chocolate, and dark chocolate pink Himalayan salt. And for all our food ingredient sensitive listeners, Quantum Squares are certified gluten-free, non-GMO, plant-based, kosher, vegan, dairy-free, and soy-free, with no artificial additives or sugar alcohols. If these energy bars sound like something for you, we have an exclusive 25% discount off any product for our listeners with the promo code CAFPOD. So head on over to quantumsquares.com to shop their delicious products and use our exclusive discount. Again, that's Quantum Squares, QUANTUMSQUARES.com, promo code CAFPOD.
Here on Fully Booked and Caffeinated, we're constantly on the go, but sometimes we just need to unwind and relax with a good book. Enter Good Feels THC-infused seltzers. Good Feels is committed to redefining the way you relax. Made with all-natural ingredients and offering flavors like dragon fruit raz, pineapple mango, and blood orange, these drinks are the cornerstone of great taste and tranquility. Not in the mood for bubbles? Good Feels also offers gummies and mood booster drops to add to your favorite beverage. Whether you're looking to unwind after a long day, enjoy a night in with friends, or just need a little something to take the edge off, Good Feels cannabis seltzers are perfect for any occasion. And we've got an exclusive promo code for listeners of the pod. Go to shop.getgoodfeels.com and use promo code CAFPOD for 20% off, 21 and over only. Again, that's shop.getgoodfeels.com, promo code CAFFPOD. Try it out and let us know your favorite time to unwind with a Good Feels cannabis seltzer. Back. Okay, first let's talk about Lisa. She is charismatic and she uses her charm to get the women around her to follow her blindly, despite how she mistreats them. And it really does resemble an abusive relationship where she dangles these compliments or affection or favors and to get these women on side. And then she's quick to reprimand them or hurt them. Like we see one instance where Georgina goes to turn on the light when they've snuck out and she just walks over and slaps her across the face. And she's like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And also, she freaks out when they give her the shots to make her complacent because obviously she can't be her manipulative self when she's being controlled by the medication.
Mm-hmm.
And she needs to have control over every aspect of her life. What did you think of Lisa overall as a character?
Well, first off, I just have to applaud Angelina Jolie because I forgot how good of an actress she is. She hasn't really been in much, but I think that this was her era, her acting era, and she plays crazy so well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way that Lisa's character is portrayed as she's kind of like the 90s Regina George. You know what I mean? Because the same thing, it's everyone wants to be her friend in a sense, and everyone wants to be on her side. Because you can see those there's small moments in the movie, when she goes and cuddles on the couch with one of the patients, and just how, like you said, she's very charismatic, and people kind of get under the spell of her without realizing that they should be sleeping with one eye open because she's gonna seek retribution.
And they desperately want her approval.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg knows.
Oh, yeah.
The pull that Lisa has over these other women, and she tries her best to stop it or to contain it, but she can't be everywhere all the time.
No. And I think that, at this point, Lisa's been there for so long at Claymore, and she knows all the ins and outs, and she's kind of the queen bee of the place. So,
and I think there's also something about them wanting to choose their battles with her because she is so combative, because she is, such a long-standing resident and everything. I saw a lot of people complaining about how unlikable Lisa and Susanna are, and that's literally the fucking point.
I was gonna say I would assume that they did that successfully if that was what the job was.
Exactly. The point is that they're complex and complicated and can't be put into a singular box.
Yeah.
So, okay. There's this whole thing about social nonconformity versus crazy in this movie. So, Susanna is deemed quote unquote crazy, but her argument is that all of the evidence they have of this craziness is simply rebelling against society's idea of what's acceptable. So she's sexually active, which they label as promiscuous. And she doesn't want to follow the normal path of attending college or aiming for domesticity and wanting, to settle down with a boyfriend. And the promiscuity specifically is the thing that Susanna has the biggest issue with because of the double standard.
Yeah.
She asked the psychiatrist, how many women would a man my age have to sleep with to be considered promiscuous? 100? And I would have to sleep with how many? 5? And in her mind, that should have nothing to do with her diagnosis, just because she is a person who likes to have sex. And if there
Yeah.
was a man who likes to have sex, he wouldn't be checked into a mental hospital.
Absolutely not.
He would be in the good old boys club.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the way that society has labeled this, her autonomy is completely taken away. So she's checked herself into this hospital and effectively signed over her life because she's no longer in charge of her body,
Yeah.
her mind, her freedom. When she questions the medication, she's forced to take it
Oh my
anyway.
God, I know. That
And
was hard. Yeah.
When she talks about going home, they forbid it until she gets better.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal of this institution is about managing the women, not making them better.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the women have no departure date in sight. They're basically permanent residents. And
Yeah.
the one woman we do see leave, besides Susanna, is still deeply troubled and ends up taking her own life once she has the freedom to do so.
Yeah.
So obviously, what they're doing isn't working.
No, and it's actually interesting because the vibe that I got from the like Susanna's character and Claymore specifically is I don't think she belonged there.
Okay.
Like I think that she's kind of like an anomaly to like the other patients because it's kind of like you just said is there's a difference between like social conformity and like being crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't ever get the feeling that Winona Ryder's character was crazy. I just think that she definitely had like a depressive episode and
Mm-hmm.
obviously did try to commit suicide, even though she's like, I was just trying to go to sleep or whatever
Mm-hmm.
she was doing, you know, because then I think that she has such a strong comeback, especially after the incident with Daisy and like her committing suicide. And when she comes back and, you know, she kind of has that really emotional conversation with Whoopi Goldberg and she's talking about how, you know, she can't relate to Daisy because everyone is going through like their own issues mentally and
Mm-hmm.
like how hard it is and everything. And I think it's kind of like this breakthrough moment for her where she kind of comes out of like the crazy fog and she's
Mm-hmm.
starting to journal. She's starting to talk to her therapist. She's like really, really changing. And when you compare her to the other patients of the hospital, they're not making those strides.
Yeah.
So I think that Claymore, while it was, you know, a psychiatric hospital and like obviously it did end up like helping Susanna, I don't think that it I think she's just kind of like an outlier.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the opposite, actually. I feel like none of the women should have been there.
Well, yes. I mean,
No, not because
yeah.
of the hospital as it was,
Yeah.
but because I think that the reason that the other women didn't have that determination or self control to get better is because they had been there for so long, or because they'd been there from
Mm-hmm.
younger ages and told that their problems were not fixable.
Yeah, there was no room for growth.
Whereas I think that Susanna was told that her problems were fixable. And so she had that kind of reassurance. And all of the women are treated like issues to be dealt with
Mm-hmm.
instead of complex and independent people. And obviously, that's how a lot of psychiatric hospitals operate, but even more so with women, and especially in a time like this in the 1960s,
Yeah.
where women having opinions was questioned, and
Yeah.
any stray from society's ideal image of a woman is met with problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
And not only are they a problem to be dealt with, but the women are villainized for what they have done or thought or the way they behaved as a result of their mental illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Which also brings me to another point about this hospital, which is the abuse of power, because they don't really harp on it, but Lisa suggests that the only way to show you're getting better is to reveal your secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But then those secrets can be used against you.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what, you are not in control of your future
Mm-mm.
or your present for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because any incentive or any stepping stone that you're on to get better is then giving information that can be used against you.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously we got to talk about death. So we talked about how Susanna rebels against her diagnosis. and how a lot of the labels through, the definition of her illness aren't indicative of a mental illness. They are
Yeah.
just labels. But the fact is, Susanna did try to kill herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she is obsessed with talking about death. And in the beginning, she's upset with Jared Leto for not wanting to talk about and not relating to her being
Yeah.
suicidal, basically. But once Susanna sees death with Daisy, her attitude changes.
Yeah, it's a flip
because,
switch.
yeah, in a way, she was romanticizing death.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she talked about it like it was some poetic justice. But in reality, death is ugly and it's final. And when someone is gone, you have to live with the regret of everything you never said to them.
Mm-hmm.
And she feels this in real time. And, like I said before, I don't think her standing up for Daisy would have made a difference. But it's still something that she regrets not saying.
Yeah.
Because it would have absolved her in some way.
Mm-hmm.
She says this quote: "You hurt yourself on the outside to try and kill the thing on the inside."
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus Christ, if this isn't a perfect way to describe mental illness and suicide.
Yeah.
Because suicide is so complicated, obviously, and suicidal ideation is very common.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, but I think that this perfectly sums up how the enemy is your own brain.
Oh, yeah.
And your own brain convincing you that you would be better off dead, or convincing you that suicide is the only answer to your problems. And it also sometimes feels like the easy option. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean easy, but I mean obvious, because your brain won't let you comprehend the amount of time or work or effort it would take to feel better or to feel happy enough to want to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about the way suicide was portrayed in this movie? Because it's obviously the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it is the whole thing. And, and I like the way that you say that Susanna was romanticizing death, and it was an interesting concept for her as she goes through the movie, and she just kind of is still very much, because there really was such a switch once she sees Daisy's body and she experiences what death actually looks like. And then from that moment on, she realizes that death is a lot uglier and messier than she could have ever anticipated. So while she has this moment of, I'm going to kill myself and then everything will be better, she has to come to terms with, actually, no, that's completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, she doesn't necessarily want to, like, it's almost like she doesn't want to put that burden on other people too, because I think she has such an emotional reaction to Susanna's or to Daisy's body. Like, it is very stark, the difference between her and Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa very much is like, she calls her like a dumb bitch or whatever she says, or like, you're an idiot, like, to like Daisy's dead body. And it's kind of like, well, Lisa, like, you're the issue. Like, you very much talked her to her own death because you wanted to like knock her off her hypothetical high horse of being on her own. And and I think that's what happens too, is a lot of the times the people who end up choosing that route, it could be because they're just constantly being like put down, or they don't want to face their inner demons and accept that the things that they're either engaging in or how they're feeling isn't maybe morally correct. And so instead of having to like come to terms with what I'm doing is wrong, they're like, I'm just going to end it all instead and take this route and make everyone feel bad. So,
Yeah, that's so interesting that you say that, of like the inner demons, because it goes perfectly with hurting the inner demons on the hurting yourself on the outside to try and kill those things on the inside. And like it is so hard with Daisy, because she obviously had all of this horrible unresolved trauma. She had
Yes.
these mental illnesses that she wasn't getting support for, that, her dad was just trying to make them go away. And we know that it's probably because he had, ulterior motives.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that this is the first time that we ever see Susanna show any type of emotion
Yes. That's what
is
I'm
when she
saying.
sees
Yeah.
Daisy.
It's like a total switch in her demeanor. Like
Mm-hmm.
she completely shifts into like this like new persona in a way where
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't want to like take any more shit from Lisa, and like she just wants to she it's almost like the wake up call she needed to want to do and be better.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it's terrible that she has to witness such a traumatic event to even come to terms with that. It's unfortunate she couldn't just like come to that on her own. Like instead, she has to see somebody that she has come to know,
Mm-hmm.
and unexpectedly just see the unbelievable damage that they did to themselves in order to leave. Like that's a lot. It's a lot for
Mm-hmm.
anybody.
And
So
it's irreversible. And
yeah.
I think, she sees, what if this was me?
Uh-huh.
And do I really understand the, what's the word? The things that go along with it, whatever. Do I really understand like the consequences of this action? Do I
Mm-hmm.
really understand? Because she's just thinking about the short term. She's
She
just
is.
thinking about the suicide. She's just thinking about, I don't want to be here. And wouldn't it be so easy to just not be
Well,
here?
that's the thing about suicide, is that people who do it, they're not thinking about the long-term effects.
Mm-hmm.
They're just thinking about it's almost like the most selfish moment you can ever do in this life. Because you really don't think about the ramifications that it's going to have on the other people in your life, or just anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's obviously devastating that people feel like that's the only option that they have, and that it's also devastating to see people's reactions once a loved one has been like taken from this world. And then you could just see, like, it's just like that you want to go back in time and shake them and be like, look at how much people care about you, and look at how much people
Mm-hmm.
love you, and we know you're going through it, and that this is like the hardest time of your life, but like you can persevere. But some people just don't think that it's an option.
Yeah. Well, and that's the mind convincing them that
Mm-hmm.
everyone would be better off without them, and everyone
Yeah.
wants them to be gone, and it would be easier for everyone around them if they were gone. And
Mm-hmm.
so in some ways it's the opposite of selfish. In some ways it's, I'm doing everyone around me a favor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's switch to something a little lighter. Okay. So this movie is based so heavily on the friendships between
Yeah.
the women in the hospital. So we obviously talked about how Lisa is kind of a horrible person, but
Mm-hmm.
the women are also starved for acceptance, that they understand each other on a different level. So these are people who would never be friends in the real
Yeah.
world.
No, absolutely not.
But this unique shared experience bonds them, or trauma bonds them. And it's so beautiful when we do get these moments of sisterhood, like
Yes.
the bowling scene or the music scene, or the joy when Georgina is watching The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, these friendships are both what make Susanna worse and better.
Yeah.
And it just shows the, not only how starving they are for acceptance and love,
Mm-hmm.
and that type of camaraderie, because they feel so isolated, not only in their
Yeah.
own brains, not only in their mental illness, but from their families, from society. And so she needs that because she's never had a lot of friends before.
Mm-hmm.
She's never connected with people like this. And because of that, she lets Lisa manipulate
Oh
her
yeah.
and brainwash her
Mm-hmm.
into thinking that no one cares about her best interest. And like, for the record, not many people at this hospital do. But basically trying to trick her into thinking that like she knows better than anyone else.
Yeah.
What did you think about the way they portrayed like these women and their relationships in the hospital?
I mean, it was like well done, because I feel there's such a societal norm of people that are a little different. And how come people who are a little different can't be friends with everybody? It's like they're automatically put into a box that they're unable to like pull themselves out of. So being in like this little community of being with like other weird people that, you know, maybe can't completely relate to like what you're going through, but have a similar lifestyle. You know, everyone deserves friends. Everyone deserves to like have someone that they can connect with, even if it's on like a platonic level. It doesn't have to be. That's what like that's like the whole point of like female friendships, is to just have that connection to somebody who just like gets you. And so I think in this specific atmosphere, it's nice that they can kind of come together, but they're obviously so very different.
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at Polly, and she is kind of, it almost feels like her growth was stunted because of like what, and I mean like her like maturity, like her
Mm-hmm.
like her emotional growth. And then you look at Lisa, who is a mastermind at weaving her way through everyone's brains and making them, well, like for instance, like in Daisy's position, making you feel even worse about yourself when you're already going through like a tough time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a catch-22, because while the friendships are good, like you said, some of the time, they're also terrible because you know you have this mental illness or issue that kind of makes it difficult to really connect or have like that real friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that because they're so desperate for this and desperate for
Yeah.
people to understand them, that's
Mm-hmm.
why they do let Lisa get away with so much. And
Yeah.
that's why they do let her mistreat them. And to Lisa's point, like, yes, she is a master manipulator. Yes, she is charming and, she's gaslighting them, but she
Mm-hmm.
also, that is all that she knows.
Well, yeah.
She doesn't know how to relate to these women without harming them, without saying things that she knows are going to hurt them.
It's very clear that Lisa never felt loved growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and that who she has become as a person is due to the like experience that she had growing up. And which I think is also like so common for people that end up with mental illness. You know, it's difficult like if you don't come from like a loving home or anything like that, and you're just constantly in like a, a state of like comparison and wanting to, you just want to be better, and like you don't know how. And I think that Lisa just accepts who she is as a person and does it in like a negative way, obviously, because she's
Mm-hmm.
just like, I know what I can do to people, and while it's not necessarily nice or kind, I don't give a fuck anymore, because
Mm-hmm.
I it almost feels like she got the short end of the stick in her life, so she has the right to do what she does.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's continued in the hospital where she feels like they don't really care about her
Yes.
being better. And
Mm-hmm.
she does have this mental illness, which does affect the way that she relates to other people and the way that
Mm-hmm.
she can understand other people. But she sees what does work for her
Yeah.
and the manipulation, and she exploits that.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems as though there's no one showing her how not to do that.
No. No. Because even like there's just a few scenes where you see her talking to like the orderlies, or like Whoopi Goldberg's character, and it's like it's almost breaking that like patient doctor relationship. And it's kind of, she's asking like the one girl, when she was like, oh, my fiance wants me to have sex before we get married, and then you just have like Lisa being like, oh, fuck, I wear a rubber. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the orderly or whoever, like the nurse, should not be having these kind of conversations, like, with the patients. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it just muddies the waters even more.
Yeah, and I think something that's not discussed enough is how Susanna also manipulates people.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that she manipulates that male orderly because he
Mm-hmm.
has feelings for her. And she uses that to get away with things and to kind of have someone to cuddle up with and
Yeah.
to, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the same way that Jared Leto's character has real feelings for her and she just wants him for sex, which is fine for the record. But she's not acknowledging that he
Yes.
has real feelings.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
she's not protecting his feelings, which is not fine.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
I
not being
agree.
open with him about the fact that she doesn't have real feelings.
Yeah, I agree.
So she does use sex specifically a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
time to get what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's not as abrasive or as manipulative, it's not seen the same way that
Mm-hmm.
Lisa is using her charm, you know?
Yeah, because Lisa, like, definitely puts it on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't try to hide who she is as a person whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
And she's also,
Mm-mm.
I think, fully accepted who she is as a person. And I think that's also the difference with Susanna. I don't think Susanna has accepted, like, her faults. She just, does it without having any, like remorse, in a sense. Like you said, like,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't care about protecting other people's feelings.
Yeah. But then we do get that moment at the end where Lisa, we see that she does care what other people think about her.
Mm-hmm.
She does want Susanna to understand that she's not irredeemable, that
Mm-hmm.
she's not dead inside, that she does have feelings, that yes,
Mm-hmm.
she does do these horrible things, but it doesn't mean that she's all horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the movie, Susanna comes to the conclusion that maybe she was being a bitch by calling everyone crazy all the time. And society is the problem, not her new friends.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, crazy isn't being broken or swallowing a dark secret. It's you or me amplified.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this because while mental illness is 100% real and it's your responsibility to handle your own mental illness, seek help to manage it, blah, 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 it's also not a flaw.
Mm-mm.
It's something that when you understand it, you can utilize it and it helps you understand yourself, why you think the way you think, why you act or feel a certain way. It's a part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an explanation for the reason that you do things a certain way, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And it doesn't mean that you're broken. And especially coming from Susanna, who thought that she was in a place with a bunch of lunatics and that she didn't deserve to be there,
Mm-hmm.
she finally has this understanding of what mental illness really is. And she's
Mm-hmm.
embraced that understanding and realized that even if she doesn't fully agree with her diagnosis and with everything the doctor was saying, that when she was willing to put in work to understand herself, she was able to quote unquote fix those things about herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was also a great writer, and she didn't realize that she should be using her skills as a writer to help her process her emotions and her insecurities.
Exactly.
And now that she can relate those two things, that's why she can be successful,
Mm-hmm.
because she knows that she's giving herself the tools through no help from anyone at this goddamn hospital, but giving herself the tools to be successful when she gets out of there. And I think that that's kind of the message of it, but it's also so upsetting that we don't see anyone else making any progress.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. Because then you're like, you just almost feel like, what's the point of the hospital if
Mm-hmm.
it's not to help, you know, the patients to better, to be, not even to, like, be better, but just to understand who they are, then what's the point of the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of like the reflection of why when people think of like psychiatric hospitals, there's just like everyone's just always sedated,
Mm-hmm.
and there's never really there's no brain activity. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And it's like this, obviously, this hospital was full of very outwardly healthy, like they're able to move, they're able to like hang out, they're able to do things. So it's not an exact replica of what people might think. But they're obviously very able to like
Mm-hmm.
be a human. So why aren't they doing better? Or why isn't the hospital helping them to like be better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is the problem because so many of these women obviously have trauma that they haven't dealt with. Not that we get a lot of the backstory besides Daisy's,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no tools to help them process that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they're with some of the psychiatrists, and the guy is just like, well, you women and your opinions,
Yeah, it kind of
you
just feels like
silly ladies.
it just feels like a free for all in the hospital too. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're just in like a community room and watching TV and like playing like games and stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, I think that's great. A sense of community is definitely needed in those times, but you just don't see any progress.
Well, and the one psychiatrist specifically isn't trusting them enough
Mm-hmm.
to make any improvements. He doesn't talk about their diagnoses with them. He's not honest with them about what is actually going on with them.
Yeah,
So if you don't even tell someone what they're being diagnosed with, how can they get any better?
exactly.
And like the fact that he doesn't trust them with this information, how are they supposed to process it?
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like this, it does definitely portray well the way that women are not necessarily believed, the way that people with mental illness are put away and
Mm-hmm.
throw away the key. And like you said, this
Yeah.
was like very good conditions compared to some other psychiatric hospitals, but
Mm-hmm.
it just, I don't know, it all feels so upsetting.
It does. It absolutely does.
Anything else you wanted to discuss about it before we rate it?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, our rating scale today is rotisserie chickens, whole ones, not just the
Now,
bones.
now I'm hungry. Um, okay. I think I'm gonna rate this 4.5 rotisserie chickens.
Okay.
It's interesting because like I remember watching this movie like over 10 years ago and like really resonating with it. And then I watched it now and I was like, what did I resonate with?
Okay, that is a very common opinion online.
I was like, wait, this movie's kind of terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I appreciate the attempt on portraying mental health in women specifically and how tough it is, especially when you're not able to fully understand what's going on with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. But the lack of any actual medical things going on and
Yeah.
and that they're just fucking running away and escaping and no one cares. Like I guess I didn't realize how like unrealistic it felt. It actually truly feels watching it back now. And I also didn't remember how fucking terrible Angelina Jolie's character was, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So clearly I must have watched this when my full frontal lobe wasn't fully developed yet.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was a very common thing online. Everyone was like, oh my God, the first time I saw this changed my life. And now I watched it as an older person and I'm like, girl, what?
Uh-huh.
This movie's also way too long. It does have a lot of extra stuff that doesn't matter. And I
Yeah.
wish that we got more backstories for some of the women.
I agree. I agree with that.
I was like, can we get more Georgina? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I feel like she was barely in it. And then they kind of just like make Polly out to be like this, not like a creep, but kind of like a creep.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't really give her any validation to like why she is the way she is. And we're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of left to like our own devices and figure out what's wrong with her.
Mm-hmm.
And like
And
I
like
don't love that.
What was good with the lesbian character? We don't know. We have no idea what was wrong with her.
I know.
I mean, she was probably just in there because she's gay, and that's
Probably
a mental illness, quote
yeah.
unquote. So,
Mm-hmm.
I will say that Angelina Jolie's performance is
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
incredible. And
Mm-hmm.
without her, this movie would have fallen very, very flat for me.
I agree.
I liked the complexity of the characters, and like we talked about before, how they don't like fit in a box,
Mm-hmm.
and the way they were written. But it just kind of felt like, as we said before, what is the point when Susanna is the only one we see get out and presumably have any success?
Yeah, and like, why is it just her?
Yeah, and now knowing that this is based on a nonfiction memoir, I kind of get why it wasn't translated well into film.
Yeah.
But I am going to give it 5 out of 10 rotisserie chickens,
Nice.
which is exactly how many rotisserie chickens Daisy is allowed to have underneath her bed before she needs to rotate them out. So that's where that comes from.
No correlation.
No correlation at all, but also, yes, 5 out of 10 because she can only have 5. Yeah, I was also disappointed because I remember loving this movie. I do think Brittany Murphy was incredible in it also, but I remember her getting a lot more screen time than she actually got.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like she dies, and then we still had like an hour left of the movie. I was like, I thought that was the whole movie.
Yeah.
So, all right. I just fear that this series for us has us revisiting a lot of old movies and realizing that maybe we idealized a lot of the late 90s, early 2000s.
But I think it's almost, I kind of like doing that, going back and watching something that was so visceral of importance in my life growing up, and then I go back and watch and I'm like, this was not good.
Oh yeah, and like I sure as shit wasn't thinking about the social nonconformity the first time I watched it, or the, you know what I mean, like the effects of mental illness besides just the suicide part. So
exactly.
I also love revisiting this stuff. I was just shocked
when I saw that it was over 2 hours. I was like, huh,
it was too long,
because it's also such a dry movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's not, to be quite frank, there's nothing of substance in it.
There's no silver lining. There's no real happy moments.
No, there's not. And so it's like, if you're gonna portray mental illness in the way that you are without having it have any kind of happily ever after, you gotta make it a little bit better. Like it was like not too dark, but like too daunting. And it's, you're almost kind of salivating for like that relief of like seeing something good happen, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then by the time that Susanna is like set free, you don't even care anymore. Because what did she do to deserve it aside from like all the other women?
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think the tone is too much and not balanced enough.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all we have.
Anyways, shall we end on a happy thought? Like, I don't know.
I'm like, we're talking about how dark and daunting the movie was. Meanwhile, this podcast just talked about mental illness and suicide for an hour. Yeah. So, like, we are the problem.
Yeah,
you're welcome. I also won't be reading this book, so
no, thank you.
I'm good on that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a joke or something? Can you tell us a joke?
Oh God, Eric just had a dad joke earlier. Oh, wait, what was it? Oh no, it was funny. It was funny. I can't remember it though. But the punchline was Jurassic Pork. And that's all you need to know.
You can't just tell me that. Oh my God. This podcast is getting worse by the minute. Oh my goodness. All right, we gotta go before Heather ruins more jokes.
Why did the chicken cross the road? I mean, I don't fucking know, but...
Probably because it had a mental illness. I don't know. Oh my God. Okay, that's all we have for you today. Stop listening now. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, please make sure to follow, subscribe, and rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts, because we do hear that that helps for others to learn about our show. So even if you're a Spotify girly, if you could just pop on over to Apple and throw us a rating, 5 stars, please, that would be wonderful. This probably isn't the episode to ask for that.
Probably
Anywho,
not.
if you have any book recommendations or questions for us, you can email us at fullybookedcalfpod@gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at fullybookedcalfpod to see our upcoming reads. Thanks for checking us out, and remember,
If you need us, we're fully booked.
bye.
Bye.